Hey everyone, Andy Rafael from eTeknix.com, and this video, I'm not even sure what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to kind of wing it. It's going to be completely different to everything else, but I kind of feel like it needs to be done. Let's do this.
Andy, what are you watching?
It's not what you think.
Wow, it's so big.
Why, thank you. It's the new AOC AG493 UCX, 49 inches of pure performance and a refresh rate of 120 Hz. It's so fast. You can even do two at a time.
What?
You can connect two devices at a time and split the screen. With FreeSync Premium Pro, a 32:9 aspect ratio and a built-in KVM, you'll be finished in no time. Gaming, I mean. What did you think I mean? Get your mind out the gutter and click the link in the description to find out more. So yesterday saw the launch of the 3080 Ti. Here's one here from MSI. This is a Supreme X. And even when I was making this video, it was a little bit of a sore subject. And before I even really get into any of this, this video is going to be different to what we normally do, because normally we'd script something out, or we'd have notes or something. I'd have my phone here with some notes on it, and I'd be sort of, bullet pointing sort of things and stuff and going through it bit by bit and having some kind of substance. This instead is going to be kind of me laid bare, me kind of raw, talking about, I guess, what I think and how things are and how things, in my opinion, are going to be in the near future and so forth. And so much of it comes down to this. The 3080 Ti, which was launched from NVIDIA yesterday. It was such a weird thing to talk about because essentially this is a 3090 with half the amount of VRAM. It's like, whoop-de-doo, you still can't go out and buy it. And we see comments all the time in all of our YouTube videos on the website on eTeknix.com about kind of, what you guys are feeling. And we get quite a lot of hate comments and stuff as well, oh my god, you've got this graphics card and I can't get one because you've got one, and that's why, we have these shelves behind us with all these cards on, and we work for free and we do this and we do that. And I kind of get it. And I've said this before in many videos that I get what you guys are thinking, what you guys are feeling, and just how the general reception is in the market and how that differs to kind of, what we see from the other side, from manufacturers. But I want to sort of make it clear from the offset, I am completely 100% in agreement with you. And I've just finished watching a few videos from other YouTubers about kind of the same thing. And this was, I guess, playing on my mind for a little bit about sort of giving you guys information about how things are. And some other YouTubers have, basically given their opinions and their feelings. And I kind of felt like, now is my time to do exactly the same, because we are in a really weird situation as kind of, a YouTube channel and as a tech review website, that we kind of sit comfortably in the middle between the consumer and the brand. And the beauty of that is we are the voice of the brand on a bigger scale, because we can reach out to many more people than what a brand can directly, unless they're going to go on, and do like a television advert or a radio advert, which is going to cost them a lot more money and things like that. And it doesn't mean that brands pay us money to say nice things. I said this is a great card, and I mean, I'm not lying. It is. It's, if you want the very best performance, the 3080 Ti is the one to go for, right? But MSI didn't pay me any money. NVIDIA definitely didn't pay me any money. I mean, we have such a weird relationship with NVIDIA that it's kind of now bordering on frustrating, because we don't get sampled founders editions. We always get told it's because there isn't a big enough sample pool, and we don't do the numbers that other sites do and stuff like that, even though we know just from our own kind of research that we do better views on YouTube than some sites who do get sampled founders, and we do better views on the website than some sites who do get founders. So we kind of put that down to the fact that NVIDIA just don't like us, and we're kind of fine by that. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. So we have to sit there thinking, what do we do? So we work with AIBs, we work with MSI. We've obviously got the 3070 Ti stuff coming up, and we've got some cards coming from other brands like Palette and Inno3D. So we are going to, release content to you. But I always sit there thinking, okay, YouTube views, which is, what we're trying to really push at the moment and how things are at the moment. Do people care? I mean, our 3080 Ti review, it's going to sort of glow up, I guess, as time goes on. But at the moment, it's got some views on there, but we're nowhere near doing the same amount of numbers as we used to do, say, a year ago. And it isn't just us. You can look at some of the big boys out there, Jay's 2 Cents, Linus, and people like that. And they're only getting, 500,000 views on a video. They're only getting 1 million views, which, I mean, to me, wow, I would love 1 million views. We have one video that has surpassed 1 million views, and it's how to reset CMOS, and I recorded it nearly 10 years ago. But for them, 1 million views must be quite hard because they're used to getting 5, 6, 7 million views. So they've seen the same kind of percentage cut or drop as to what we have, just, on a much larger scale. Percentages are still the same though. If you're getting 7 million views and it drops to 1, you're dropping X amount. If we're getting, initially 50,000 views and now it's dropping to this, it's the same kind of drop. And it's frustrating. And so much of that comes down to the fact of, I guess, PC gaming as a whole has gone in a completely just obscure direction. So many people are PC gaming now. I remember having so many friends who weren't really into PCs. They were all into consoles. Even consoles, you can't even buy them at the moment. And if you can, you're paying stupid prices for them. They're being scalped on eBay and all that kind of, tricky stuff. So it's really the same kind of things happening in the PC gaming segment is happening on sort of, consoles and things as well. Mobile gaming, I think, has slowed down a little bit. I may be completely wrong. I'm not in that kind of sphere of, the tech world that I don't really pay too much attention to it. Instead, I'm all about PC gaming. And it's because I always have been. I've been in the computer since I was 10, 11 years old, thanks to, older kind of, siblings in my family who had an interest, kind of got passed down to me, and then I made something out of it, and I made a business into it. And you have to remember, I'm not a one-man band sitting in a bedroom. That's where things started many, many years ago, but now it's completely changed. We have the studio that I'm in right now. Next door, we have an office. There's people in there who have to be, paid. There's the rent costs and things like that. We have to rent out storage containers to store a lot of this stuff. And again, because so many people, why have you got to store stuff? Because you could just give that stuff away because you got it for free anyway. And we didn't get it for free. When you're thinking, we have to pay thousands of pounds in rental costs and wages, and, I have to pay myself, and I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got bills to pay, everyone has these days. And we can't just give stuff away. We can't even just sell stuff, because it's kind of like these unwritten rules in the industry that, you can't do that, especially if a product is still kind of, current and things. And we have to think it goes back into, onto the shelves as inventory, and we have to reuse it for other things. And so many brands out there. So let's take MSI, for instance. They sent us this 3080 Ti. This is here at the moment on Friday the 4th, and we recorded this. We've had it less than a week now. We had to record it. We had to get all the B-roll for it. We had to do all the testing. We had to do everything to give you a well-informed kind of, decision on what we think about this. Should you go out and buy it? If you even can, if you can get it for the right price. And then MSI are going to pick this card up. And MSI are going to pick this card up and they're going to rotate it to other media, because in the UK, at least as far as I know, there are 2 samples of this card. This is one of them. Another media has the other one. And these are going to be rotated to other media outlets. So I'm then not going to have this card. And what that actually means is I'm not going to have a 3080 Ti at all. And that's going to change, because we're going to get other cards rotated to us from other brands who left it with a media for, the launch day initial reviews. Then it's going to get passed to us. So when people say, oh, but you get all these free cards and you're just bathing in graphics cards, we're not. This is kind of the truth behind it all, and cards get rotated. It's not just graphics cards. I had AMD call me yesterday and they said, can we borrow a graphics card? And I was like, well, of course you can. It's technically not mine. It's kind of on a long-term loan. So it's out of shot, but up there is a 6700 XT, 6900 XT, 6800 XT, and 6800, as well as a 5700. And there was a 5700 XT, which is an old graphics card now. But again, about a month ago, AMD said, we need a 5700 XT. You happen to have one. If you're not using it, can we have it and send it around, and we'll send it back to you after? Because the way they see it is it's more likely to get used here under, certain projects that we're doing and comparisons when new cards come out and things like that, than it's sitting in their kind of storage room at their PR firm or, at their headquarters in this country, instead of it just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. So it makes sense for them to do it like that. So they kind of rotate it out, then it comes back and we kind of store it for them in the potential hope, I guess, from their point of view, that we're going to do something with it. And sometimes we do, and we do builds. And I will kind of, I guess, touch on builds and what we're doing with that and stuff as well. But the main kind of point behind this video is I wanted to, I guess, explain to you guys how things are in the market, what the situation is and everything, and what it's actually meaning for us as well. Because we feel your frustration, we do, every single one of us, because I guess we are in a lucky situation where we get to play with hardware all the time and it's fun, but it is hard work. You know, I mean, 3070 Ti, I've had notifications today from DHL that they are being shipped, from one from Hong Kong and one from Taiwan. And they're probably going to arrive here. I had one saying that it's going to arrive on Monday. I don't know when on Monday it's going to arrive. It could be 9 o'clock in the morning, which is just, I mean, that's the perfect world. It'll arrive on Monday. We'll have all day to test it. And you got to remember, it's not just the testing. We have to kind of get our head around where it sits in the market, what the recommended retail price is. Not that that really means anything anymore. And kind of, we have to explain to you guys what we think as kind of, you know, professionals or expert reviewers in the industry as to why we think you should buy it or shouldn't buy it, or, you know, should you skip it? Should you do this? Should you do that? And we don't get a lot of time to do that. I mean, when you think about it, if it's going to take us upwards of sort of 7 hours to test something, and that's permitting that, you know, everything goes right. It never goes right. There's always a spanner in the works. So then we have to retest certain things. We have to, you know, speak to the AIBs. We have to speak to NVIDIA, which again isn't fun because communication is just not great with them between us. We still don't know why. They won't explain to us why. They just kind of, seem to fob us off. But that's my problem, not your problem. And we have to go through all that. And then at the end of the day, if it's all done in a day, we have to sit there and analyze the results and think, okay, so it's this much better than this card, but it's also like twice the price. So probably not worth it, because from a value perspective, from a price per performance perspective, it's just not worth it. Or is it? Or is there a saving grace? Is there a silver lining? Is there this? Is there that? And we have to do all this. And for the most part, so much of that is me, because a lot of the guys who work here, you know, aren't technically minded to the same kind of level. You know, I've got a guy, Matt, who does all the video editing and he's great at what he does. But from a technical standpoint, I'm kind of, you know, on my own sitting there going, right, what do I think about this? Because he hasn't been in the industry that long. So it's very difficult for him to kind of, you know, have his input into it. And I have to do all that in a very, very short kind of time frame. Then Tuesday's going to come around and we're going to film the video of this. If we're lucky and I am done with testing, Matt might be able to get kind of the B-roll of I'm going to say this is 3070 Ti. It's not, but this is, you know, imagine it is. He's going to get all the B-roll, so all the nice like swooping shots, and, you know, make it look really, really nice for video. And yeah, we see it all the time in the comments. People say, I can't believe you only have 60 odd thousand subscribers. Like, your video quality is like second to none. You're my new favorite reviewer. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I carry on doing what I'm doing, because I see comments like that and I think, yes, I agree with you. You know, I think our content is really, really good. And one day we will get to that point, because we've done very well with the website. You know, we get a good amount of traffic on the website. We're up there with kind of the big boys in terms of traffic, which is what matters to brands, because it's all about ROI, especially when they're sending away a graphics card that, I mean, this could arrive, we could test it and we could break it. Luckily, that doesn't happen often, but it could happen. And if it breaks, then that's like $1,200 or whatever for a graphics card, just completely gone down the drain. Their ROI is dead. You know, they manage to get maybe one review if they're lucky, and then the card's dead. They have to sort out things logistically, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So there's that aspect. And brands work like that. They work on an ROI basis. They have to see it as, what are we getting for this? And there are some brands who, you know, we have such a good relationship with, and MSI is one of them. And MSI will send us a card and they say, okay, we need to rotate this. And I say, okay, can I have it back after? We've got some other project ideas. Whether we want to take the cooler off, slap a water block on there, maybe do some tutorial videos and stuff like that. And they go, okay, yeah, that basically is another, you know, check off the list. So that's 2 pieces of content from one media outlet. That makes their ROI even better, because they've had to spend one cost, but they're getting 2 pieces of content. They're not spending any money to get that content. You know, MSI, for instance, they spend money with us on advertising, on pre-roll videos on YouTube, banners and site skins and stuff on the website, but no one will ever pay us for a review. It's just not happening. We do sponsored videos, that's fine. We will never, ever, ever, and we never have taken money for a review, because it goes against everything I believe in, everything that I kind of think is, you know, journalistic integrity, and it physically can't be done. You can't call it a review. It's an overview, it's a sponsored video, whatever you want to call it. It can never, ever, ever be a review. And that applies to the website and YouTube. So there's that. I didn't think this video was going to go on this long, but kind of feels like it is now, because I kind of feel like I'm only about halfway through it. This is just graphics card. So I'm going to put this to one side, because, you know, that's just one kind of piece of the puzzle. You've probably seen we've done all sorts of different types of videos, whether it be reviews that are product specific or whether we do builds. Like here's one here. we did a build video. It was in conjunction with Cougar spend money with us. So why would we not look at their products? We're not being paid to say anything nice, but it makes sense. If you're a brand and you're spending money with us, why would we not look at your products? Because you'd sit there going, hold up, we spent money and yeah, we got advertising, but they didn't really do anything else. They didn't even bother to give us the time to look at their products. So we're like, no, we're going to use your products. So we have the Cougar build, we have Cougar case, Cougar AIO, we have a processor in here from Intel, the 11400F, which we did some content on the website. And Intel never spend any money. They kind of do. It's kind of indirectly. So Intel will have what they call MDF funding, and that money will be going to their partners, Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, anyone who uses Z590 chipsets and B560 chipsets. And they will send money to them, and then they will spend money with us. So it's kind of like indirect marketing. But Intel will still send us the stuff because we have a good relationship with them. So they will still send us a processor. So we're like, right, let's do a build. And what can we hit? But there's another aspect to that of when we do a build like this, yes, we're keeping Cougar happy. We're keeping Intel happy. We're keeping Gigabyte happy because all of them, apart from Intel, but indirectly are spending money with us. So we are doing these things to kind of, keep on side and do nice things and, have a good working relationship with these brands. But then we have to sit there and think, well, what was the point in doing this build? Like, what does it bring our viewers? You get to see, I guess, a certain price point or a certain kind of purpose. We're doing a water-cooled build at the moment, and the whole point of that is it's going to be like the ultimate gaming setup with a full water-cooled RGB build. The desk is RGB. It goes up and down. There's a nice chair. Kind of do, something a little bit different. But then we get comments of, well, what's the point? Because, yeah, I can buy all this stuff, but I can't buy this. I can't buy the graphics card. And at one point it was, I can't buy the processor. So what's the point? So that's why we haven't done many builds this year compared to maybe last year, where we did a lot more time-lapse builds and stuff like that. And we got good traffic on them. Sometimes when a new case comes out, we did it with Corsair and the 680X when that came out. And I think that video is well in excess of coming up to 200,000 views now. And the whole point was to show how can the case look with a fully populated gaming PC, lights and everything. And we did that build. So it was kind of a bit like a showcase. And sometimes a brand will pay for that as a sponsored video. Sometimes they won't. And we just sit there thinking, okay, we can, get some content out of this. We will get some advertising in other ways through Google AdSense, the videos that you see, the pre-roll videos or the videos that you see at the beginning of all of our videos that, sometimes are skippable, sometimes aren't. But it's really difficult for us because we have to think from two different sides of it. I could pitch a million different ideas to brands and say, right, you give me money, I make content. And it should be that simple, right? But then if you guys aren't going to watch that content, they're going to sit there and go, hold up, we just spent X amount of dollars or X amount of pounds and we only got this amount of views. And that's because, the YouTube algorithm is forever changing and people aren't watching videos like they used to because what's the point? Because you can't go out and buy it. So it puts us in a really, really tricky situation, and it's frankly quite crappy, especially at the moment. And I made a video about, the state of the industry probably over a month ago now, and, how things are. And I spoke to industry insiders, people who are in Taiwan and Singapore and Hong Kong and China. I spoke to, distributors within the UK and the US. I spoke to brands directly. I spoke to retailers and sort of, had a look at all of that. And then I spoke to them and they all sort of, gave me confirmation of what I was already thinking, which for the most part was, this doesn't all come down to, let's go back to GPUs. It doesn't all come down to scalpers and it doesn't all come down to mining and stuff like that. There's, it's a small piece of the puzzle. Admittedly, it's probably the largest pieces of the puzzle is scalpers and miners, but there are other elements at play, like the cost of shipping, the cost of cardboard boxes. You guys may remember that we did a video for MP5 Works, which was their backplate cooler. It was custom loop, went onto the back of a 3080, 3090, and it cooled down, especially on the 3090, it cooled down the VRAM because there is VRAM on the rear. And his products, Lucas's products, come in like this really nice fancy kind of black box, and it's like it's a real experience. You sort of slide off the top. There's two little ribbons that you pull out all the accessories. It just looks really nice. And he put up the other day that his boxes are now like cardboard colored, and they don't have the same impact. They don't look as good, and that's because he can't physically get black boxes. That's the sorry state of affairs going on right now. There is a cardboard shortage. So I know for a fact there are brands who have graphics cards, who have processors, who have all sorts, and they're sitting there doing nothing in trays and boxes and stuff like that because they can't physically package them up. And if they can't package them up, they can't sell them into the retail channel because, I mean, do you really want to buy an OEM graphics card? They don't want to do that. It doesn't give you the same experience. So I'm hearing this, from a small business. And you got to remember, we're a small business as well. So I love speaking to other small businesses and seeing kind of, what they're dealing with and everything. And yeah, it's just, that's the way that things are. So cardboard shortages are making an effect. And I said in my last video that I can't foresee anything getting better until at least July. Well, here we are. We're in June. And July is now looking like it's just, it's going to be a long, long time. And as I mentioned, I watched some other YouTube videos, and one of them explained, there's the same kind of feelings that I'm having here about how the market's going, where it's going, and stuff like that. And they basically said the same sort of thing of the 30 series. I think, you have to see as a write-off. Like, is it going to get any better, or do you just kind of write it off and wait for the next one and hope that things are better then? And sort of, hopefully NVIDIA start from fresh with that, and they can at least tackle the mining side of things. If they can do that, that will help. It's not going to be the be all and end all. It's not going to be the greatest thing, and it's suddenly not going to change overnight, but it's going to make a big difference. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect is, when are things going to get better in terms of shipping? I was speaking to a case manufacturer the other day, and they basically said, this is how things are. We've got a launch coming up. It's either going to be July or September. I was like, well, that's a bit weird. Like, surely it should be like June or July or August, quite kind of close together. But no, they were like, nope, it all comes down to, we have bought a shipping container. We have put all of our cases in it. That does not guarantee us space on the vessel. Even if you buy, the time on the vessel and things like that, it doesn't mean you're getting on that vessel because someone could outbid you or whatever. And you're just not going to get on it. So they basically said that if they didn't get space on the vessel, the case launch would not be July. Instead, it would be September. That's how much of a delay, 2 to 3 months difference between getting on the boat now or getting on it then. It's not like, if I can't get it on today, get it on the next day. It doesn't work like that. There's so many different products coming out of Asia, and it's not just technology products, it's everything. Obviously, technology is probably the main big one, but there's so much more to it. So that's kind of what's going on. And I initially said I can't see things getting better until at least July. I kind of need to retract that statement now because it's not looking like July is even going to make a blind bit of difference at the moment. And I feel your frustration. I know exactly where you're coming from. And I've got friends who want to build PCs, and they come to me and, I'll give them like an old case that I had laying around that's, end of life and not being used anymore. And, that really helps because I'm now having to pay another £400 for the same graphics card I was going to buy 6 months ago, but I've only just managed to save all my money now. And I couldn't imagine being in that situation. I mean, luckily I'm not, but I can empathize with you guys as consumers because it sucks. It really, really does. And then you have other elements of it, and I put up pictures on social media yesterday before the 3080 Ti launch that we grabbed ourselves of CCL basically just having ridiculous pricing. They had a 3080 Ti Supreme X, which is this one here, for like £2,800. They had the Gaming X Trio, which technically is a model down, but for more money. That was like £3,000 for a 3080 Ti. And the biggest problem is, as far as I know, they sold out of them. And the thing is with it is, if you're going to help facilitate a retailer, then that is your downfall as well. Because all the time that someone is selling something for X price, whether it's inflated or not, if consumers are buying it at that price, they're going to sit there and go, well, we took a chance, it paid off, we made bank. So what does it really matter? If you guys are paying them extra over the odd pricing, they're going to keep on selling it for that extra over kind of, just crazy pricing. And another video that I watched, and I'm glad, Tom from Overclock 3D did this, and he sort of, called them out and said, we need to boycott CCL. And I completely agree with that. So if you are in the UK, I cannot stress enough that you should not be buying from the likes of CCL. This isn't the first time they've done it. As far as I know, they've changed hands and stuff in terms of management and things like that, but they have completely tried to single-handedly ruin the market, especially in the UK. And I know there's brands and retailers in the US and stuff as well with the way that they do things. So when these brands are doing this, just don't ever buy from them again. There's the whole thing. It goes down to like politics and stuff. Use your feet to sort of demonstrate what you want to do. If you're not buying stuff from there, they will go under. And I'm not an advocate of having someone go out of business. I'm a small business myself. I have a small team. There's less than 10 of us working for eTeknix, and I would hate for someone to kind of force me out of business. But when you're doing stuff like that yourself, you kind of have to look in the mirror and think you've only got yourself to blame as well. So there's that element of it. So there are some retailers who, did things a little bit differently. And again, this was, reiterated in other people's videos, like Scan Computers, who were selling, from what I can tell, at reasonable prices. There are other retailers, I believe Overclockers in the past, they've done kind of this inflated pricing. And I guess sometimes distributors, they have, markups and they have to pay extra because of the shipping costs and then, the lack of silicon and the lack of wafers and, the lack of raw materials like metal and plastic and things like that. But it doesn't mean that you need to go stupid and 3080 Ti at $3,000. Sort your shit out. It's terrible. So the main point of this video is I also want to get some feedback from you guys. What do you want to see? Because I'm literally sitting there racking my brain thinking, let's record a video. And we record a video like a product review or we do a build. And I think, you know what? This has turned out looking absolutely amazing. And then we get views, but we don't get the views that we used to get. And I'm sitting there thinking, what is the point in doing what we do anymore? And I want to carry on doing what I do because I love this job. And I started this job as a hobby and then turned into a hobby that I got paid for. And even myself lately, I've just been feeling a little bit, I don't know, not sour, but just disheartened. I sit there thinking, okay, I'm still making money, which is good, but sometimes money isn't the be all and end all. It's not, it's the root of evil for starters, but it helps keep the lights on. It helps me give my family the best possible stuff that they have in their life. And I'd like to think, the people who work for eTeknix, they're in the same situation. There's people who have worked for me who, have managed to buy themselves a house and stuff like that. So there's kind of all that going on. But on the same side of it, if you're not seeing growth in terms of views on YouTube, the website, we're quite lucky, has been very sustained. But YouTube, I kind of feel like we are growing just at a much slower rate than what we used to. And it gets disheartening that you're sitting there going, we've made this amazing video. We've put 3-4 days worth of effort into it, testing, filming, editing, scripting, everything like that. And this is the result. You kind of think, let's not do that again. What's the point? So, and again, I know other YouTubers have tried to diversify a little bit. And some of the biggest videos we've had have actually recently just been news, speculation and things like that. So maybe we're going to do more of that. In all honesty, they're easier to film. We have to research, we have to script, that's it. We don't have to test, we don't have to have a product in front of us, we don't have to get B-roll. It's a lot easier to edit. They're short, they're snappy, they're to the point. So maybe we just, I don't know, do more news-based content and things like that, because that's what's bringing in the views. Products aren't anymore, but we still have to work with the brands. And when they say, can you look at our products? Come on, we're spending money with you. The least you can do is look at our products, give us that time. Well, we have to, but then we don't get the views and they go, oh, what was the point in that? We say, what was the point in that? And it's just this vicious cycle. So I want to get some ideas from you guys. What would you like to see? Because build videos, what's the point? Because you can't buy some of the components. Product reviews, again, even if I did a product review on a motherboard, we did Z590, it bombed because no one was really interested in Z590. And again, how are you going to build a Z590 based system if you can't put a graphics card inside it? Yeah. What are we thinking, guys? I honestly need your help. I need the community. And we're really lucky, we have a really good relationship with the community. We're on a lot of Facebook groups. We have our Discord, link in the description below. We have kind of all that. And I'd like to think out of most of the media outlets, we are probably more in tune with the community than most people. In the fact that, the way that we talk to people and we interact with people, we're not just a corporate kind of conglomerate who just like, here's the content, read the content, watch the content. We're never going to talk to you again. And that's it. And I see that so too often on social media with brands, media outlets who literally just spam all the content, but there's no like interaction. And I try and, add some personality to like Twitter, and we have our game nights on Discord and stuff like that, which definitely go and join that. And I want to know from you guys, what do you want to see? Because we're sitting here going, we can't keep doing the same stuff that's just not getting the views. Yes, it's making money, but money, like I say, isn't everything. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you want us to do, what you like, what you don't like. I don't know, maybe you just like stuff like this. 20, I hope this is like 20 minutes. It's probably closer to 30 minutes now of me, not ranting, but just, I don't know, maybe giving you guys some insights as to what things are, how things are in the industry from my point of view, because we get to see it from both sides. So yeah, I think I'm done. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Like I say, let me know, because without you guys, we're nothing. You are eTeknix. We are all eTeknix. We are all the tech industry. There's so many parts to this puzzle, and most of it ends with you guys, with the consumer. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you think about this video as well. I mean, this is completely unscripted. There's no teleprompter. Normally I run a teleprompter from my phone. There's nothing. It's just me, laid bare, raw. eTeknix raw. Maybe I'll do one of these one a week. Completely unscripted, me babbling in front of the camera. There's going to be little to no editing in this as well. I'm probably going to tell the editor, cut the start, cut the end, leave it, and that will be it. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know exactly what to do. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whatever that may be. Yeah, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.